A very good Saturday evening. Welcome. This is Saturday's edition of Week in Primetime News. I'm Joel Outskun. We're coming to you live and direct this evening from my Newsfirst studios in Colombo. Let's start off tonight with a look at our headlines.
Heart surgery ICU at the Karapitia Hospital malfunctions. Prices of all bakery products except for bread increase from tomorrow. Politicians comment on the expected election system for the provincial council elections. 44 skeletal remains discovered from mass grave in Mannar. President flies to Italy for global summit. Sri Lanka spinners wreak havoc to beat South Africa inside 3 days.
Starting off with our top story this evening. Cardiothoracic surgeon attached to the Karapitia Teaching Hospital, specialist Dr. Namal Gamage, has decided to withdraw from performing surgeries at Heart Surgery ICU from next Monday. Now, this is as a mark of protest for the failure in the part of authorities to repair the central air conditioning system of the Heart Surgery ICU.
The central air conditioning system at the Heart Surgery ICU was established in 2003 and it first malfunctioned in 2013. The hospital officials on a number of occasions had requested from the authorities to either modernize the existing system or to install a new system. However, those requests had fallen on deaf ears. Cardiothoracic surgeon specialist Dr. Namal Gamage, who performed over 1,000 surgeries a year ago, has been compelled to reduce that number to 700 because of this serious shortcoming. As of today, specialist Dr. Namal Gamage has performed more than 18,000 cardiothoracic surgeries. It is reported that more than 3,000 patients have been included in a waiting list for cardiothoracic surgery at the Karapitia Teaching Hospital. After a patient undergoes a cardiothoracic surgery, he or she is admitted to the Heart Surgery ICU. Sources also claim that a patient dies once in every 2 weeks after a dangerous germ enters into their systems.
This is the patient's record book. A date has been given. Since there is an issue with the air conditioning system, we cannot move the patient for surgery. This is a disappointing situation. We need a solution for this. There is no point in having the directors and the government.
On the 24th of November 2015, Health Minister Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, while on an inspection tour of the hospital, promised to solve the issue.
1 billion rupees was approved for the new cancer hospital. Then the remaining issues will be solved. The linear accelerator will be installed in April, and I can promise you that. The building will be constructed by December, and with 450 million rupees, it will be done in April. The issue will be solved. The issue at the heart surgery has been solved, and we have reached a decision on that.
Although the minister made such a statement in 2015, officials are yet to install either the central air conditioning system at the Heart Surgery ICU or the linear accelerator. Nevertheless, speaking to Newsfirst, Minister Rajitha Senaratne said steps have already been taken to solve the issue in the coming days.
A meeting took place this morning between the ETI depositors and the board of directors at the ETI head office premises.
The objective of the meeting was to discuss the financial crisis faced by ETI with its depositors.
The person called Sivajyoti is not commenting on the amount of money and who the investor is. Therefore, the central bank has not given him any authority. He has been given time until the 30th of September. Please listen to what I have to say and thereafter we can reach a decision. We all need our money back. I am speaking for all the investors.
Thereafter, a heated situation arose at the premises.
We are expected to accept whatever the amount they give us and go home. It appears that we must agree to whatever proposal they've put forward.
They were aware of the details and allowed this situation to arise. The government and the central bank governor must be held accountable.
I have no money and I have no way to survive.
A number of investors came forward to repay the depositors, and among them was Jay Sudhir Jairam, who came forward as an investment partner. Sudhir Jairam was detained by customs at the Bandaranaike International Airport while attempting to smuggle foreign currency out of Sri Lanka. According to the newspapers that exposed the incident, Lanka Mobile UK was preparing to purchase EAP and Sudhir Jairam had arrived in the country to operate as the middleman in the deal. Sudhir Jairam and his son were let go by customs on the promise that they would return to the country in November last year to facilitate the investigations that are taking place over the matter. However, Sudhir Jairam had never appeared for the investigations. Yesterday, 3 people were arrested at the BIA for attempting to smuggle foreign currency worth 48 million rupees. They were produced before the Negombo Magistrates Court and remanded. In such a backdrop, who is making attempts to protect Sudhir Jairam? Though it was said that an investment of $75 million will be brought in as investments to ETI, until now, only $32 million have reached the country.
Mano Tithawalla, who once served in the Director Board of Edurisinger Trust Investments, which is part of the cash-strapped EAP group, is currently holding top positions in a number of state institutions. Now, senior banker Rusiripala Thenakun said Tithawalla's involvement in the ETI deal is a surprise, adding that no matter which government comes into power, such people are involved in key positions.
Certain things done by Mr. Mano Tithawalla during his tenure of office as the chairman of the People's Bank have to be reviewed in a very critical manner, because he resorted to employ nearly 13 outside employees, calling themselves, by categorizing them as consultants and specialists of some sort, to be brought into the bank to improve the efficiency of the bank. And the strange thing is, those contract employees were recruited through a employment manpower supplying agency called the Management Services Limited. And it was alleged during that time that there was some kind of a relationship which could have been graded or categorized as a area of conflict of interest, where Mr. Mano Tithawalla has had some relationship to that company. They were entitled to huge salaries. Some of them are still continuing in the bank in the contract capacities, and one of them has risen to the position of the chief executive officer status of the bank while being a contract employee and receiving huge salaries and perks which are paid through this private company called MSL. Taking all these things into account, it is very pertinent and relevant in the context of several finance companies like the ETI crashing to look into the affairs of the state sector banks to see how they are performing and what their present status are, having gone through such periods with such questionable deals behind them.
Minister of Petroleum Resources Development Arjuna Ranthunga attended an event in Ganemulla to pay tribute to war heroes. Now, speaking at the ceremony, the minister commented on the fuel price formula.
A fuel price formula has been introduced to reduce fuel prices when the world fuel prices drop and to increase prices when there is an increase in the world market. We have discussed this in the cabinet and we have handed over this task to the Treasury to be carried forward. My personal view is that the CPC, the CEB and the Water Supply and Drainage Board must be made into service institutions. If we are increasing prices of bus fares and other goods, this system needs to be approved. As the country's political leadership, we need to take a decision whether we are going to carry this burden or put it out to the laurels of the people.
The Old Ceylon Bakery Owners Association says that prices of all bakery items expect bread will be increased by 5 rupees with effect from midnight tomorrow.
We are requesting all the bakery owners to increase the prices of all the bakery items by 5 rupees with the exemptions of bread. This will include fish buns, cutlets, patties, and other products. We have increased only 5 rupees. Moreover, 5 rupees of tax is imposed on a 35 rupee fish bun. Give us some relief, or else within the next couple of months, we might have to increase the price of bread by 10 rupees. We have requested for a meeting with the finance minister, but up to now, we were deprived of a meeting. We had a discussion with the Deputy Minister, Buddhiga Patirana, but he has no power to intervene into this matter.
President Maithripala Sirisena visited the International Indigenous Healthcare Exhibition Ayurveda Expo 2018 this morning.
The exhibition and symposium is taking place at the BMICH. Ayurvedic medicinal practices and medicine are showcased at this event.
Sri Lanka boasts of a number of indigenous medicinal practices or Ayurvedic medicinal practices. The Western medicine and practice has spread all over the world, yet the indigenous medicinal practice is of paramount importance. This exhibition showcases the local medicine and its developments to the people. Therefore, while we live in a world of advanced technology, it is commendable to be present at an exhibition such as this.
President Maithripala Sirisena left for Rome today to attend the 24th session of the Committee on Forestry and the 6th World Forest Week organized by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. Moving on, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe visited the Aluth Nuwara Sri Dadimunda Mahadewalaya premises in Mavanalla today.
The Prime Minister, accompanied by Minister Sagala Ratnayaka, visited the Aluth Nuwara Sri Dadimunda Mahadewalaya premises and engaged in religious observances. Thereafter, the Prime Minister inspected the second phase of the development of the Sri Dadimunda Mahadewalaya premises. The Prime Minister also attended the opening of the new administrative building of the Gokarala Police. 71 million rupees was spent on the construction of this new building.
The inaugural launch of the Sri Lankan Teacher of the Year Award took place today under the auspices of Minister Sajid Premadasa.
The third International Forum for Teachers organized by Pearson Edexcel, University of Nottingham and Gateway Graduate School took place at the BMICH today. The conference aimed at addressing the issue of changing the role of teachers in the 21st century and in the future.
A dedicated teacher can go a long way, and that teaching is not a dead end. And I believe that's the reason this man, who started as a trained teacher, went up to be the State Secretary of Education, responsible for all schools in Sri Lanka. When he was principal of this school that he built, he produced a lot of good sportsmen, and there were a few good cricketers. And that cricketer, on behalf of the teachers and the father and of course his principal, has decided to recognize the work of good teachers and has decided to award 1 million rupees for the Sri Lankan Teacher of the Year.
The Sri Lankan Teacher of the Year award was made through the contribution of 1 million rupees by cricketing legend Aravinda De Silva in honour of all dedicated and committed teachers, especially his former guru R.I.T. Allas and his father, the late Sam De Silva.
There are enough and more people who are willing to come forward, and I want to make this bigger and bigger to make sure that the teachers get the credit they deserve. So I want someone from Sri Lanka one day to be that global winner, and I hope we will produce, just like a World Cup winning team, a champion teacher from Sri Lanka in the future. The greatest challenge that teachers have to address today is the task of building global citizens in these uncertain and changing times. The student of today needs to grow up to be an informed member of the modernizing society. For the very first time, we have initiated the creation of model villages for the teachers who are homeless and landless. The teacher villages will be spread throughout the country, covering all provinces, districts and divisions. I will assure you there will be many model villages which will be allocated exclusively to the teacher profession of our country.
Asit Muthukumara Jayaratna from the Daluwa St. Anthony's Mahavidyalaya in Putlam was adjudged the Sri Lankan Teacher of the Year.
Under normal circumstances, dollar loan between two sovereign countries would have gone unnoticed by the global community. But China's dollar lending to many countries had been termed as a debt trap. Last evening, Sri Lanka's Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe commented on China's Indo-Pacific strategy.
China views the Indo-Pacific as a mechanism for containing China in the Pacific and Indian Oceans and thereby increasing its strategic vulnerability. Now, we have also seems to have got caught on it because we have the Hambantota Harbour. Our agreement with China merchants, China government, is that the security of Sri Lanka and the Hambantota port will lie with the Sri Lanka government and the Sri Lanka armed forces. That has been accepted. The Southern Command itself is shifting from Galle to Hambantota. We've asked the Navy also to have more emphasis on anti-submarine warfare within our capabilities. You can see we are increasing the number of offshore petrol vessels. We will ensure that we can maintain the security of the Hambantota Harbour. Neither does it help China to have Hambantota as a base. You're in the middle of nowhere.
But one needs to bear in mind is that most of the Chinese-funded projects in Sri Lanka have come in as loans and not aid. The Hambantota port, the first major loan it took on the project, came from the Chinese government's Export-Import Bank for $307 million. But to obtain the loan, Sri Lanka was required to accept Beijing's preferred company, China Harbour. The Sri Lankan government leased a Chinese-built deep-sea port in southern Hambantota for $1.12 billion on a 99-year lease amid mounting debt crisis. The Central Expressway. In May, the Chinese government approved a $1 billion loan for construction of the first phase of the Central Expressway. Infrastructure projects. The Export-Import Bank of China agreed to provide concessional loans amounting to $492 million, facilitating three major infrastructure projects in the fields of irrigation, water supply and road sector development for the year 2017. A loan of $147 million under the preferential buyer credit facility to implement the Thalpitigala Reservoir project. A loan of $90 million for design review and construction supervision of civil works on extension of Southern Expressway project from Mathura to Hambantota. A $254 million loan for the Kandy North Pathadumbara integrated water supply project. Kenyan Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., addressing the National Assembly, recently noted China is using debt trap diplomacy in projects.
Work permits for foreigners are supposed to be given for work which no Kenyan can do. When a fellow Chinese who cannot speak English is manning a gate and Kenyans are looking for jobs, what are you talking about, you fellows? Let's get to the bottom of this matter quickly. Lastly, can we afford 1 million shillings a day? What are you saying? These people are like, this thing is going to become like the port of Sierra Leone and Sri Lanka. We are going to sell our national treasure to these people. 66% of our debt, and is growing, is to the Chinese. They split a school into two. The railway line is in the middle. The school is destroyed. They've refused to repair it. When they go to Makueni, when we complain, they go and bribe the teachers, give them 200,000, 300,000. We have a crisis. History is going to judge us so harshly when we begin paying and selling our country to the Chinese.
Up next is Voice of the People.
Voice of the People.
The people living in the Lunavatta area that comes under the purview of the Valapane electorate have been severely inconvenienced over a period of time due to the absence of a bridge. For many years, they used the makeshift bridge across the Urudia Oya. However, that was washed away by the flash floods, leaving these locals even more helpless. Due to the absence of a proper bridge, large number of families living in the Lunuvatta, Varalkatia, Madhubanagama and Galpitia villages are facing numerous difficulties. They claim, despite the authorities being informed of the issue, they are yet to be provided with a solution. A large volume of water flows through here. We have to be very watchful before crossing. It is better to construct a bridge at this location. Many families in the Pamunua, Kirivaula, Pilimathalava and Hepana villages make ends meet by engaging in the brass industry. Years ago, it was an industry that benefited the locals well. However, as there is a difficulty in obtaining raw material, the industry itself is at risk. The locals claim many have moved away from the industry and are now working as day labourers.
If the industry is to continue, we will have to import raw materials.
Excavations carried out in the mass grave in Mana have unearthed 44 skeletal remains and many bone fragments.
Excavations are taking place after bone fragments were discovered when the ground was being dug up for the construction of the Mana Satusa building in March. Excavations commenced on the 28th of May following a court order issued by the Mana courts. A group of judicial medical officers led by specialist Dr. Chaminda Rajapaksa, the Mana Hospital JMO, are involved in the process together with Professor Raj Somadeva, who will be conducting the forensic archaeological examination. A member of the team said 10 human skulls have been unearthed in addition to 44 skeletal remains, and among them are those that of 4 children. The team members noted some of the skeletal remains are those of elderly men and women. It was added that none of the skeletal remains showed signs of gunshot injuries.
For 33 days, we have located 39 human skulls. We have securely moved them away from the site and placed them in a safe location. We have removed the skeletal remains of 26 people. We will continue with the excavation.
Ruling party and opposition MPs commented on Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
If you take a look at the force that is behind Gotabaya Rajapaksa, it is something very dangerous. Gotabaya Rajapaksa has been put forward with the objective of creating a military rule. Sarath Veerasekara says once their patriotic government is elected, the chairman of the Human Rights Commission, Deepika Udagama, will be sent to the gallows simply because she made a statement. If a former military serviceman is making such a statement, you can imagine the power they have in their minds. They showcase their military nature. They want to create a military-style government. Gotabaya Rajapaksa is not a politician. He has no vision on democracy. He is simply a military officer. Despite the anti-government sentiments at the local government polls, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party managed to obtain 15% of the votes. You are aware of the countless allegations made against the leaders of the Flowerbud Party. One of them was even stung by a serpent and the file never came out. These will be brought out. The 15% will increase and not decrease. Mahinda Rajapaksa will not engage in politics forever. If you listen to the comments made by Kumara Velgama, it is clear he does not favour Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Can another Rajapaksa do that? All those who left will eventually have to come back to the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
Minister Mahinda Amarveera believes the provincial council elections could be held by the end of the year. Minister Amarveera expressed these views after meeting with the assistant agricultural officers in Kurunegala.
There's a high possibility of having the elections at the end of the year. There are requests to hold the elections as per the new system. On the other hand, there are requests to hold the election as per the old system as some shortcomings arose within the new system. A final decision will be taken within the next 2 weeks on how the elections will be conducted. Minister of City Planning and Water Supply Rauf Hakim says the provincial council elections cannot be held under the new system. The system is not suitable for the provincial council elections. The elections commissioner goes around telling that the elections will be held soon. The demarcation is a mess. Minister of Provincial Councils is making various statements, and the elections cannot be held as the minister says. The MPs who elected through the national list do not understand this. Even the leader of the United National Party says that the election cannot be held under the new system.
Gammadda V-Force.
We are all set for the launch of the Gammadda V-Force.
Join us on the 21st of July
and be a part of the cleanup program of the North Gate entrance of Sigiriya. To register, call us on 0114 896 896 or SMS by typing Gammadda space your name and send it to 7788. You can also log on to our website www.Newsfirst.lk for more details.
Gammadda V-Force.
The final rites of the late President's Council Hemant Varnakulasuriya was performed at the Borala Public Cemetery this evening.
A large crowd, including ministers and parliamentarians, were present to pay their final respect at the late Varnakulasuriya's Norris Canal Road residence. After the religious observances, the body was then taken to the Hulsdorf Courts complex at 1 in the afternoon. President's Counsel Hemant Varnakulasuriya was 74 years and passed away last Wednesday at a private hospital while receiving treatment. Varnakulasuriya was a lawyer who fought strongly against injustice and rendered a yeoman service in raising public awareness about the law in the country through the media.
He's a legal professional who worked towards creating a strong public service by abiding by the law and also worked towards prosperity in the country. He's one who represented the nation and his demise is a loss to all of us. Be the controversial treasury bond scam, he was very vocal and he exposed the legal aspect of every matter. He's one who directly expressed his view as a social servant. We are saddened by his passing. For more than 4 decades, he rendered his services. He is a highly respected individual. He held a great responsibility and his demise is a serious loss. His untimely death is a great loss to the legal profession as well as to the country's democratic process.
The final rites were performed at the Borala Public Cemetery this evening.
Two people were killed in separate shootings that took place in Kudaoya and Govindpura in Munaragala.
The shooting in the Unanayaya area in Govindpura had taken place around 12:40 early this morning. Police believe a personal dispute may have led to the murder. The victim was a 38-year-old resident of Kuluobbala, Siambalandua. According to the investigations carried out by police, a locally manufactured weapon had been used to commit the crime. Police had already identified one person as a suspect and investigations are underway to apprehend him. Another man was gunned down at 11:20 last night in the 36th milepost area of the Kudaoya police jurisdiction in Valavaya. Police suspect a long-standing dispute may have been the result of the shooting. The victim was a 52-year-old man from the Jayabim area. 2 people have been arrested over the incident and were produced before the Valavaya Magistrates Court.
2 people died in a motor accident which took place at the Ambagahavela junction on the Anuradhapura-Trincomalee main road.
Police said 3 people had been travelling in the motorbike this afternoon and it had collided with the electricity post after veering off the road. The victims were a father and son. The mother was injured in the incident and was admitted to the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital.
South Africa were out for their lowest test total since readmission as Sri Lanka handled them a crushing defeat in the first test in Galle. Chasing an unlikely 352 to win, the Proteas were dismissed for just 73 inside 29 overs, less than 24 hours after they managed only 126 in their first test innings. With that, we wrap this edition of the news. Thank you for stopping by. More follows on our website www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Joel Outskun. Take care. Good night.